You know that feeling, right? That knot in your stomach when you hear about the economy? Well, today, we're going to look at that feeling through a really different lens. One that suggests maybe the best thing to do is, well, nothing at all.
So you open up the news and bam, there it is. Another headline about interest rates or housing or the market just being totally unpredictable. It is so easy to feel completely powerless and anxious, wondering how all these huge, complicated things are going to affect your life, right? Your family, your future. And look, that's a totally normal reaction. Our story here actually starts in South Korea. A spiritual teacher was asked a question about a new president's housing policies. And people were worried, you know? They were confused and they were really looking for some clear answers.
And whenever that feeling of being completely overwhelmed hits, our first instinct is to find a game plan. We want to know what we should do. Should we be freaking out? Should we be getting ready for something? We start looking for experts, for leaders, for literally anyone to just give us a clear path forward.
So when this teacher was asked what people should do about all this economic uncertainty, everyone was probably expecting, some deep analysis or a 5-point action plan. But instead, the advice they got was incredibly simple. And honestly, for a lot of people, it was just weird.
So what was this totally radical advice? Well, it goes completely against our gut instinct to jump in, analyze, and worry about all the problems that we feel like we just can't control. And here it is. The teacher's response, in Korean, was niptu, niptur, niptugu. The best way to translate that is pretty much leave it alone. Just let it be. Don't even touch it. It wasn't, here's how to fix it, or here's who you should be mad at. It was just this simple, powerful instruction to just step back.
Okay, so your first reaction is probably, what? No way, right? How can you just ignore something as big as housing or the economy? It just sounds kind of irresponsible. But the teaching here suggests this isn't about not caring. It's about a massive shift in where you put your focus. There's a whole philosophy behind this one little phrase. So this is all about getting to the why. This isn't just about ignoring bad news for the sake of it. It's about taking your most valuable resource, your attention, your energy, and pointing it towards something you actually have control over, yourself. So the teacher basically frames our current time as what they call a gwadagoji, or a transitional period. You could almost think of it like society is going through its teenage years. Of course, there's going to be chaos and confusion and some really awkward policies while humanity figures itself out. From that point of view, trying to fix every single problem out there is like trying to calm down a hurricane by yelling at it. So the core idea is this. If the world outside is naturally going through some growing pains, the absolute best, most powerful thing you can do is work on yourself. Focus on your own learning, your own growth, and your own peace of mind.
So how do you actually do this? Well, there's a pretty clear path laid out. First, you disengage from that constant 24/7 news cycle that just feeds our anxiety. The advice is blunt. Wasting your time and energy on news you can't change is a bad move. Second, study. In this specific case, it's about studying something called Jungbub, but the idea is universal. Focus on getting better. And third, and this is so important, actively go find joy. Have fun, have great conversations, and do things that actually make you feel good. Now, this whole approach really rests on a few core beliefs. First, that worrying is just a total waste of energy. But it goes deeper than that. The teaching actually claims that if you are genuinely focused on improving yourself, and you're really trying your best, the universe, or heaven as they put it, won't let bad things happen to you. It's really a philosophy of trust. You do your part, and the bigger system has your back. Okay, so this all leads to a final and honestly pretty wild claim. This isn't just about feeling better right now. This choice of where you put your focus is said to have real, tangible effects down the line. And this is where the idea gets really interesting. The claim is that what you focus on, day in and day out for years, it doesn't just change your mood, it actually starts to change your physical reality. The energy you put out there literally begins to reshape your world, and get this, they say it even changes the expression on your face. And they actually put a number on it. This is no overnight fix. The teaching talks about a period of 3 years. That's the amount of time they say it takes for this consistent focus, one way or the other, to create a massive transformation. And here are the two paths, side by side. Spend 3 years soaking in anxiety, following every piece of bad news, and focusing on problems. The result? The teaching says your face literally becomes dark. But what if you spend those exact same 3 years choosing joy, learning, and connecting with people? The result is that your face is transformed. You just carry a different energy, and that, in turn, brings different experiences to you.
The teacher really sees this as a law of nature, not just some wishful thinking. It's automatic. The energy you consistently surround yourself with is the energy that builds your life. It's a simple cause and effect equation, and it all comes down to where you decide to put your attention.
And really, that's the thought I want to leave you with. Whether you buy into the specific spiritual ideas here or not, that core question is so important. Look, we live in a world that is basically designed to grab our attention with fear and outrage. So the simple act of choosing where you direct your focus, well, that might just be the most powerful thing you can do. So, what are you going to choose to grow?